Today on This Perfected Life, I am sharing with you a phrase that has just jumped out at me this morning in my reading, and I cannot shake it. I cannot get it out of my head. And I want to share it with you because I believe that in this little phrase that's tucked into Hebrews chapter 10, we see so much truth packed into these three little words. So it's Hebrews chapter 10, verse 34, and it says, "For you had compassion on those in prison, and you joyfully accepted the plundering of your property, since you knew that you yourselves had a better possession and an abiding one." So it's that little phrase, "since you knew." And I began to think about that and think, what did these believers know that they knew so clearly that they would welcome the plundering of their property and that they would have compassion on those in prison? What did they know, and what was it that fueled their compassion and their confidence? The entire book of Hebrews is pointing to Christ and that he is better than anything this world offers. He is better than any priest in the past, than any sacrifice in the past, than any blood that was spilled in the past. His priesthood is better, his sacrifice is better, his blood is better, and he intercedes on our behalf constantly. And so this was their confidence. They knew that they had, and I love that that word is used there, they had a better possession. They knew they possessed it now and that they would have an abiding one, that they would have it for eternity. That is what fueled their compassion. That is what fueled their confidence. That is what fueled their joyfully welcoming the taking of their possessions and their earthly goods. So I was really reflecting on this and thinking in my own life, what do I know? And what am I holding on to? What if my goods were taken? What if my possessions were taken? What if I was put in prison? Would what I know sustain me during that time? And so just really thinking about that, and I challenge you to think on that. What do you know? Do you know that Christ is better? Do you know that you have a better possession in him alone? That all other possessions on this earth are worthless compared to Christ, and that we can welcome and joyfully accept the sufferings and the trials that we might currently be experiencing or that we may experience in the future, because we know that we have a better possession and an abiding one. So I want you to think on that phrase, "since you know," and ask yourself, what do I know? What is my confidence in? Who is my confidence in? And is it strong enough to help me persevere in the midst of sufferings and trials and persecutions if they come and when they come? Because Christ is the only sure anchor. And when we know that we have a better possession and an abiding one, then we can have compassion on those in prison. We can welcome the confiscation of our property because we have a better possession and an abiding one. We are looking forward. And so that is my prayer, that I would know this down to my core, so that when those things do come, I can trust that because Christ saw the joy that was set before him and he endured the cross for my sake and is seated at the right hand of the Father interceding for me, he is faithful and he will help us persevere through every trial that may come, through every suffering or persecution that may come. So rest in him and know this truth.